Welcome to episode 2. What are we doing today? Time is of the essence today. I just found out my courtesy bike, courtesy of the other insurance company. Is it? No, it's my insurance company. They're rinsing the other insurance company. Anyway, I have got to give that back in 3 weeks, but it was going to take possibly 3 weeks to Cerakote all the parts. So, even though I wanted to wait until I was further on in the project to take all those parts off, I'm going to have to do it today, get them packed up and send it off. And we're going to take the catalytic converter out of the exhaust and weld it back together. Let's get into it. Bloody cold. One of the joys of having a cat, overwhelming smell of catfish in a dark corner. I've very much done this the wrong way around. The trouble with being cold is that you try and do things in a hurry. Just stay warm. I've got to be honest, if I replace this fairing, I want something special. If there's a newer version of this, I would quite like that. Life goals, life goals. I'll tell you what, I want to live somewhere that's between 20 and 30 degrees at least 9 months of the year. Any ideas? I hate being cold. Hate being cold. Everything's so much easier when you're not cold. And if you wrap up really warm, as soon as you start doing anything, you overheat. Great! Or do I just want a garage? Is that what it is? Maybe I just need a set of mechanics gloves. Now, that is slightly less treacherous, I think. I'd forgotten about the joy of GoPros in cold weather and how they just keep on stopping. Hate being cold. Woohoo! One stay. Welcome back to the smallest space ever considered for rebuilding a motorbike and putting in a high performance engine. Today, because I can't do much else, well there's loads I can do, but I'm going to do this today because it involves cutting stuff up and I'm in that sort of mood. The KTM 690 Enduro, I think the best exhaust ever made for it was the Akrapovic. But the stock ain't so bad. The only problem with it is that it is nuclear hot, because it's got a catalytic converter in it, which is about there-ish kind of thing, big old thing. That gets really hot, so it can burn off excess fuel and that's coming out. In order to better accommodate that, the bike pumps extra air into the exhaust outflow port, which assists in the burning of excess fuel in the catalytic converter. Now, I'm going to get rid of that system on the bike, but one thing I don't like about performance exhausts is that they are lightweight, but they tend to not deal well with taking a beating on the trail. So you drop your bike, if for whatever reason it hits the back end of the tip has got like a carbon fiber cover on it. If that gets broken, especially with these older versions of the Akrapovic exhaust, they're impossible to find. You can't buy them. There is a company somewhere, I think it's in Poland, that makes them. I ordered one and it was a piece of turd. So it lasted 1 day before it just dissolved. So what I've decided to do is rebuild the exhaust, but without the carbon fiber tip, which is just for show, let's be honest. This is what the exhaust looks like. This is what the exhaust should look like. Let me show you a little bit closer what I have done. I had to cut 1 inch off of the end of it, because basically what had happened over time, these holes that go through to this piece here, on the internal piece, this piece here, those holes had become slightly oval, slightly loose, which means that with all the rumbling of the exhaust was slowly but surely just working this piece loose. eventually that started to have the same effect on the outer piece, and when I did fit the new carbon fibre end tip, even though I made new holes, it didn't hold together very well. And that's because I discovered that the rivet holes have to be exactly the correct size rivet. If they're a tiny bit too big, that will lead to rattle, which will in turn lead to it just falling apart and grenaded. So I've sealed it. I mean, it doesn't look amazing, but it is now the Sawn-Off Akrapovic. I am super excited to hear what this sounds like, because it sounds amazing as it is. Like a lot of the shorter performance exhausts for the 690, the 701, the Duke and whatever, they tend to be about that long and super loud. And the thing I like about the Akrapovic is that it doesn't make old people stop at the side of the road and cover their ears, which, I mean, just get over yourself. So yeah, so today, I'm not going to rebuild this because I did this recently. I should have recorded it really, but I just wanted to see if it would go together. But I am super excited about getting this on the bike and trying it out. And to go with the Tecmo header, I can't wait, it's going to be so good. But today, we're going to focus on this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this off here, all the way around there with the old angle grinder, make a whole world of noise. Feel sorry for my neighbours who are trying to have a barbecue. But hey, I'm building a performance bike. So let's cut this off. Sorry, pretty much done now. There you have it. See that big old thing in there? That's the catalytic converter. Now I'm going to drill it out. So the technique is crude. Just drill holes in it and then smash it out, from what I understand. There's a lot of platinum in them apparently. Be sure to wear a mask. Good. Tea break, I reckon. Tea break. Alright. Do a bit of a clean up on the inside, but let's have a look at what came out. There it is. That'll do. So what I've got to do now is tidy up the inside. Now, I fully appreciate that some people are probably sitting at home getting ready to smash a hole in their keyboard asking why would anyone want to have Decat nuclear weighted exhaust versus any aftermarket performance exhaust. This one weighs this much and this one weighs this much. If you're in the game of weight saving because you're trying to get, you know, an extra quarter of a second a lap or whatever, then great. But one thing I do love about the stock exhaust is that you can get through a town centre without people covering their ears. There is something really nice about it not being ridiculously loud, which this is without the dB killer baffle thing in. On the trails, yes, heavier. I don't spend a lot of time picking the bike up. Like I've got like a thing about staying upright. Maybe you could arguably say I'm not pushing hard enough, but you're not spooking horses, you're not winding up walkers and whatever. It is just quiet. It's not sewing machine levels of quietness, but it's not aggro. You get me? What I gotta do now, finish cleaning it up, take it to a guy and get it welded. I'm just really keen to know, and obviously at some point when the bike is completely finished and we're going to get it dynoed, I am keen to see how it performs with this and this, maybe something else. All modifications I'm doing are going to involve the Tecmo. That's the header of the Tecmo. It's got a big old whoop. That's good. Epic. Can't wait. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't got the Tecmo exhaust because, let's be honest, I don't have 700 quid lying around. This project has gone over budget by thousands. So I am keen to figure out this option. If it yields the same performance as this, then that's a win. Or even if it's close, that's still a win. But we'll see, time will tell. Dyno is probably going to be the last thing that I do when it's all together and got it running and all that stuff. And I run it in and it's done probably 500 miles just using auto tune. And I've changed the oil, it's done like a first oil filter change. Then it'll be dyno time, I reckon. Maybe not, maybe I'll do dyno pretty quickly. We'll see how it goes. All right, so that's that for now. Let's get this welded. Right, so these are the winners of the Off to the Cerakote competition. What we're going to go with: swing arm, triples, bash plate, engine hangers, controversially, the exhaust heat shield. No, I'm not getting the carbon fibre ones because they're an enormous amount of money and the metal ones take a beating. And if this was about shedding head loads of weight, I wouldn't be having a massive aluminium bash plate and stuff like that. This bike isn't about being the lightest bike that's going out there. It's not going to be a race bike. It's going to be an everywhere bike that can do everything. It's not going to be the best at everything. It's not going to be the lightest. I'm not fussed about weight. Shut up, mate. Get on with it. I'm going to box it all up, send it all off, and when it gets back, I'll show you what it looks like. Come on, it's going to be mega. Alright, so it's a couple of days later. Now, I don't know if this box made it into the editing at any point, but if any of you eagle-eyed people spotted it in the background, there is an Akrapovic box in the background. I don't know what that was. Let's have a little look. Obviously this box is knackered, so you've probably got a really good idea as to what it is. It is not what you think it is. Quite simply, just another stock exhaust. Ooh, with a nice shiny new bracket on it. That's mint. Boom. Let's have a look. So, over the last few days, I have turned this stock exhaust, well not this stock exhaust, a stock exhaust into that. You see the difference? As demonstrated, you cut the end off, you drill the catalytic converter out, you get someone to do a pretty good job of welding it. I wasn't up for doing that weld, to be honest, because I am crap at welding. Look at that. Not a bad job. Solid. It's probably more to do with my shoddy cutting skills more than anything. But yeah, I'm super interested to see what this is going to be like. Is it going to be similar power numbers or feel, you know, seat of the pants feel to the Sawn-Off Akrapovic? Who knows? Time will tell. So yeah, my big hope is that this will be almost as quiet as this. There is no way that with the catalytic converter taken out, that this can be anywhere near as loud as an aftermarket exhaust. They're almost always really loud, and I know some people just love that, but I do not like scaring the bejesus out of horses and winding up people on green lanes and stuff. These walkers who could equally just bugger off and walk on like a bridle path or whatever, they insist on being on these green lanes which are open to all traffic. Fair play to them, but the more you annoy those people, the more they club together, the more they try and get the trails shut down. And if you can make your bike quiet and not ride like an absolute knobhead like some people do, then the more time that we'll all have on these trails. And plus, you don't want that situation where you're spooking a horse, someone falls off the back and they die or whatever, because then that is some sort of manslaughter or woman slaughter or horsey type slaughter, some form of slaughter or murder. Anyway, crack on, crack on. I think this is going into episode 2, so apologies for how long it's going to take for me to get around to showing you how this turns out. It's gonna be a while. No, I'm making good headway. Today I am sending off the swing arm and all the other little bits and bobs. As soon as all that stuff is sent off, I'm gonna start putting the engine back together. Yeah, yeah, yeah.